I'm a history graduate. After pandemic, things have not been slowing down. Okay, pandemic may be over. I see 70s again getting revived. On OTT, I see a lot more experimentation. I was skipping genre all the time. I was hopping from this to that. On my social media handles, you will never see anything which is apart from what I do.
Correct.
Right? I don't want people to know where I'm going to do the grocery shopping. I don't want. I mean, that's my personal thing. I don't want them to know that today maid hasn't come. That's my fear for my daughter. You know, she's 13 years old. I mean, it's a peer pressure.
Hello and welcome to News 18 SHOWSHA. Today we have with us somebody really special. Today we have with us a 3-time National Award winner Manoj Bajpayee. We have producer Sheetal sir and director Raghav sir. Thank you so much for joining us on News 18 SHOWSHA.
Thank you.
We're going to talk about the secret of Buddha relics. Could you tell us what made you venture into the third season of this series that you've seen?
So both the earlier documentaries that we did in the Secret series were very successful. And obviously Discovery wanted to take the franchise ahead, and we were contemplating, what would be the next best story to say. And Buddha relics was something that Neeraj was always intrigued about. Mm-hmm. So we started research on that and we decided to go ahead and do that.
Brilliant. Manoj sir, factual entertainment is something that has been getting audience even more these days. What convinced you to be a part of this franchise ever since the first two became also a bigger hit than before?
With Neeraj Pandey, I don't need convincing.
He's just a phone call away from us.
That's a relationship.
मेरा नाम भी ले लिया मेरे लिए भी कर सकते हो आप?
Sheetal Bhatia. The thing is, when you have that, a kind of a relationship which goes beyond just, being professional. It's somewhere, along the line, you because of your experience with the people that you have worked with. I've done 6 projects with them, with Friday Filmworks. And also I was getting this opportunity to go into a different area where I've never been before. And see how it all goes, because it was a learning ground for me. But the first one, I was struggling. There were butterflies in my stomach, and tried to just do justice to it in the beginning. Got comfortable in the middle. By the end of it, I was a little confused whether it was just right or not. How it's all going to fall in place. When you see yourself on the screen, you learn many new things. Sure. And you realize that there were a few mistakes which were there. There were a few discomfort that I was feeling. And the second one, you can always correct yourself, because it's the constant learning that you are going through. This is again a different aspect of acting. You're just being yourself, but the speech and the voice, how these things matter a lot in this kind of a format. And over the years, one has worked on that aspect of acting, and it has paid off when you are getting this opportunity to anchor a show, to host a show, which is heavily depending upon your speech and your craft.
Correct. It's quite strange when you hear a person of his stature saying struggling or being confused in his craft, right? So you said it's quite new for you as well. What was that one aspect that you thought that one learning, like you said, that is going to stay with you in your future aspects when you're doing something very similar like this?
This is what I said. Voice and speech is something that we've learned when we were doing theatre. Correct. And I kept on working on it because of the people who I was inspired by, like Mr. Bachchan or Mr. Naseeruddin Shah or Mr. Om Puri and so many others like them, stalwarts. What they never left away in the name of realism is that craft of voice and speech. Okay, because now what happens that in the name of realism we try to eat up the words and not project it. Okay, we try not to focus on the speech or the graph of the speech. We don't work on that aspect, right? So when you are getting the chance to, work on it in a show like this and project it in the right manner so that the mood and the essence of the story is conveyed to the people. Okay, it's a tough job. It's a very tough job. But since one has worked on it for many years, it somehow after Sonali, it got harnessed.
Correct.
Right? Because earlier nobody was really giving me that chance or that opportunity. I was not getting that. So somewhere I was not focusing on it completely. But yes, I was working on it, like poetry recitation, like preparing a speech and working on that speech. But here you have around 1,000 lines.
True.
And the show is really depending on the anchor and how he's conveying the essence of it.
Raghav, tell us, how was it directing him this time? Neeraj sir's creation, his acting. How was it this time? How was your experience?
So with whether it's Neeraj sir, whether it's Shilsa, and whether it's Manoj sir, with them I'm always learning only. I think more than directing him, it's a very collaborative effort how it comes through. And just you are telling Abhi right now, so whenever we've seen Manoj sir on set while I was assisting sir, so he would always tell stories in a very different way, whether it's a set ka story, whether it is anything he would recall from his history. So his narration style was very, very interesting. So that is what we wanted to bring out in the documentary also. That history, whenever we talk about history, school professors yaad aa jate hain, that you're sitting in class and then you're all dozing off. You'll have a few professors who would tell you it in a very, very brilliant way. And just thinking, to tell history in the most interesting manner. So then, without doubt, there was just one person, and so I think that's why when I say it's a very collaborative effort, that he got to the table of telling history in the most interesting way, and well, the rest is history. Then, of course, youth was interested and they wanted to know more about the stories now.
Sheetal sir, factual entertainment, like I said, didn't have much of a big audience. I would say it's very niche. Did at any point, as a producer or as a creator, did you feel or did you have any doubt that that this might or might not work? What were the chances that you took?
At Friday Storytellers, we always believe that the format of storytelling is not that important. It's the story, how you're saying it.
Okay.
So whether it's a documentary or a fiction, if you make it interesting enough for audiences, you will find your audience. So that's the thing that we follow in our company, and we knew that these are interesting stories, and we knew that if we can manage to get talent like Manoj, and Raghav did a lot of research and worked really hard on all these 3 projects, the Secrets franchisee, and yeah. So he's managed to live up to the reputation of Friday.
That's a huge compliment.
Thank you.
But did you anticipate it to blow up this way?
No, we did. We knew that we are saying good stories, and we knew that we'll find an audience for it. But Discovery telling us that this is one of their biggest documentaries successes, so it pushes us more.
Manoj sir, you tell us, what was your first thinking when you said, factual entertainment? This is something that is new for you as well. Where are we heading now next with this kind of genre very specifically?
There is a very bright future that I can see. I mean, on all OTT platforms, you have a different segment for it. And if you're looking for documentaries, docuseries, you have so many choices there and so many views those docuseries are getting. I really see a great future of this format. Secret of Sonali or Secret of Kohinoor or Secrets of Buddha relics coming in 10 best docuseries. That also says a lot. Definitely. How the ground is changing, and the viewers are changing and nobody else. But our job is to really make it accessible to them.
True, very true.
Not make it boring.
Very true.
Because then it is going to be very difficult for this format to survive. To get the children, to get the parents interested in this format, initially the parents definitely, and they are going to get the children. And the response that I have been getting personally at the airport, in the flight, anywhere I'm going for shootings or for promotions, the feedback is same. It's similar. I meet so many students. They tell me about Sonali. They tell me about Buddha relics. I meet so many parents. Then they congratulate me on this, and I think that I somehow believe that it is a congratulation or the best wishes for the fictional work that I have done. But it's actually for this series. Yeah. So I see a great future. I personally feel that people like Neeraj Pandey or Sheetal Bhati as a producer, or Raghav as a young mind, coming into it with a very pure intention that we are going to entertain the audience with these docu-series.
True.
Definitely, we have so many, such a vast research, but that research should be compiled in such a manner that it should be entertaining too. Otherwise, it will become like one, boring history lecture. I'm a history graduate. Okay. So there were a couple of darling professors whose classes one used to attend, and few of them we used to skip. Right. So when I am narrating, I have the responsibility for those unknown viewers that I have to narrate it in such a way that everything is conveyed to them, but without really them batting an eyelid. Okay, that's my job.
To be the darling professor.
To be the darling professor.
In that category, definitely.
Yeah, because if you don't make it interesting, this format will never survive.
That's very true. That's very true. But then you rightly said you're a history graduate, so your love for history is something that we know of. Is there anything that you discovered in this chapter of Buddha relics?
All of Buddha relics, believe me. All of Buddha relics, because my study on Buddha relics was almost zero. So everything that I read was a knowledge for me. So it's not only audience who is getting educated through this, but also the people who are associated with it. And that is also becoming possible because of the research that these guys have done. So just imagine 1 year, 2 years, they are really putting into this project and getting all kind of information, and some informations which are not easily available. Am I right?
And some information which is very conflicting.
Conflicting.
And then you have to figure out, and because you can't make a statement on history. So you have to hear people out, the multiple theories, and then tell the story the way it is. So, I mean, we all knew about Buddha relics, but we never, dive deep into it, what exactly it is and how it happened. And yeah, it was a hard 2-year research. The producer in me was saying commercially, why am I doing this?
But he keeps saying this. For everything he keeps saying this. Why am I doing it? But that's the greed. That's the greed the producer cannot get rid of.
No, but Raghav, coming to you, like he mentioned, the research, and then the major factor was compiling all these details and making it entertaining as a factor, because the entertainment factor needs to be there even if you're making a docu-series, like he rightly pointed out. How difficult was it?
Difficult, yes, very, very difficult. Challenging, I would use the word. Right. It's very challenging rather than difficult. And so in the company, since the time I had joined with Friday Filmworks and under Neeraj and Sheetal sir, research is very, very concrete within the company. Whether it's any film, whether it's any series, whether it's anything that we do. So we start off only with the right research, with the base foundation being right. And then to get that research, it's as simply, if I have to put it, we used to guides that we have for, so you have to take that guide and you have to tell it in the most interesting manner. And for that, of course, Manoj sir was there to read out the factual information and research oriented. Now, as we go into the research, we have a very large story to tell. And putting it in a matter of 50 minutes becomes one of the biggest challenges that we face. And I think that's where Neeraj sir comes in with his expertise to guide us and put us through that process. We always present him maybe a 70, 80 minute, a 90 minute, and we're constantly like, we want to tell more. And that's where Sheetal sir would be like, no, we can't tell more. We have to put it in this much time itself. And yes, it's a challenging process, but we enjoy it thoroughly. And well, of course, when you see the documentary, you'll find portions of it which automatically lift everyone, and it tells the story in the right
Can
way.
you give us an anecdote, probably a BTS, a dive into the BTS, what went through in the set, or for instance in your research as well? Is there one portion that comes to your mind immediately when you think of those years of research that you've put into? What is that one first incident that comes to your mind?
The first incident. So the first incident only. So Buddhism is spread. It basically has three versions. So the first one is Therwad. Then you have Mahayana, where they start worshipping Buddha, and then there's Vajrayana, which is the Tibetan Buddhism, which we see, where you have other idols also being involved. Now, which story to tell? Every story has the Mahaparinirvan, which is the death of Buddha. Everybody knows the life of Buddha, but nobody knows the death of Buddha. So, usi mein itna conflicting hai that I think that was one of the most crucial parts. And khaya kya tha unhone? What did he eat? That was one. What did he eat?
But that's also conflicting.
Yeah, very conflicting.
Okay.
Some call it mushrooms, some would call it was meat, somebody would say it was truffles, somebody would say it was a millet-based something. So we just didn't know which is. So that was one of the most difficult or the most conflicting parts of the documentary.
I definitely understand. Manoj, so coming to you, just digressing a little from this topic. In your recent interview, you had mentioned, that Hindustan right now is a little sad.
No, I said world.
हाँ.
आप लोग हिंदुस्तान बना के उसको controversial बनाना चाहते हैं.
Okay, let's take the correct quote. You said the world is a little sad. What made you conclude into that decoding of the current audience? Right?
I mean, look at the way it's going through the churning, right? Everywhere, be it Israel, Palestine, or Russia, Ukraine, or America taking a stance, or now Iran is getting into it. The Middle is getting disturbed. Even in our country, is going through a lot of churning. Or you go to neighboring countries all around, everything, So it's after pandemic, things have not been slowing down. Okay, pandemic may be over, but the other day I was reading that we are standing right at the threshold of World War III, right? And everyone is trying to avoid it, but how long they will? Let's see. I'm hoping and praying that those days don't come. But that the circumstances in the world is affecting everyone.
True.
Right? And when it is affecting, you will not, subconsciously you feel sad, you feel some kind of hopelessness.
That's very true. But do you think storytelling will also be affected?
Everything that happens, all the happenings around you will, affect the storytelling, affect the performance, affect the mood of the audience. They don't want to see the same thing on the screen. They want to see their representation, whoever is the representative, whoever is the protagonist, they want to see him winning, because that's the only time there is some triumph that they can see.
Right, I understand what you say. But do you think that what will be the next phase of Indian cinema? Let's talk about Indian cinema, because a lot of pan-Indian movies have also, surfaced these days. Where do you think is Indian cinema heading next to?
Next, theaters are going to, they are going through a lot of ups and downs, but definitely they are going to see some kind of a surge. There is the TV and OTT fatigue, because when it is available right in your four walls, the fatigue is very, very inevitable.
True.
Okay, and then the theatre entertainment will definitely surge. That's how I see it. But there will be different kind of films. I see 70s again getting revived.
Wow, that's nice. As a producer, what do you have to say? The kind of storytelling that he suggests that would resurface. As a producer, how is it for you?
For me, it's very clear. Good stories will always work, irrespective of format. Whether it's on OTT or it's on TV or it's on YouTube or it's on theaters. I agree with him that theatrical films are going to become huge again. And it's just that we as makers have to be very conscious about, because the audiences today are exposed to world cinema, world content. So we have to up the game. But if we tell interesting stories and we tell stories where we can capture the imagination of the audience.
Well, the mood of the audience.
Definitely.
Because see, the making of a story, making of a film cannot be compromised, even if you are making a formula film. Because he said it very correctly, that because the technique of it is growing every day, and we have to be upgrading and updating ourselves all the time, to match steps with the changing cinema of the world. Okay, even if the theaters are showing, say, 70s film, but the making cannot be of 70s.
Definitely.
Making has to be of our time, of our changing time. On OTT, I see a lot more experimentation and in all genre.
But do you think, sir, as a pioneer in the craft, do you think your definition of good cinema or good story has changed pre-OTT and post-OTT?
No, I mean, what I'm doing right now, this is exactly what I've been doing all of these years. Okay. I was skipping genre all the time. I was hopping from this to that. I've tried everything and be part of. If I was part of Bhosle, I was also part of, say, Ayari. Okay, then I was also part of, say, Satyamev Jayate, which was out and out commercial film. So I love that. I also feel that actors cannot afford to have favorite in terms of genre. Okay. They should be trained enough to really do justice to the film that they are part of. They can't say that I'm part of independent films, so I really don't have my set of skill ready. You can't. Yeah.
The styles of storytelling the canvas has become bigger.
That's very true.
Today, I think 20 years back, if you would say that I want to make a documentary, nobody would.
No, there'll be no takers. No takers.
But today, it's not just the, platforms or there are these audiences waiting.
True.
For new styles of storytelling. So it could be a docudrama, it could be a docu-series. We are finding so many newer things that, like I said, the canvas has just gone bigger.
Very true. Very true. Raghav, tell us what, according to you, is a good story as a director. Give me your point of view on what would you define as a good story that has each and every element that you're looking for.
Even I would like.
So, for me personally, from an audience point of view, we are in a satellite city, but I've grown up, all across the country. My dad was in the army, so seen cinema being, seen in different parts of the country, in very, very small towns. So, what used to happen was that a person would be working the entire week, would take his family for a couple of hours and see the film, and once they come out of the film, he would have a very happy feeling. He's content about things and he sees himself in those stories. So for me personally, storytelling is all about a story which can give hope, a story which can inspire somebody. If there is something that person wants to do or has not been able to do, or a thought that has been lingering around in his head for a long time, and he's able to, move ahead of that. So I think one of the best stories is when you don't have a thought in the end, you're just quiet. So a story which can inspire, which can give hope is the kind of stories I really look at. Okay. Yeah, for me, that is storytelling.
Manoj sir, how much ever we have seen OTT or the kind of canvas that he spoke about, how we have exposed to, various kind of genres, various kind of cinema. Do you ever think Indian market will ever be bored of a Masi movie?
I don't think so. My next one is a Masi movie.
You say Masi movie, honestly, people will connect.
So it has to be engaging, and it should be telling the story of our people, right? We've been talking about 70s when Mr. Bachchan, Mr. Vinod Khanna, Mr. Shatrughan Sinha, or say Mithun sir, all of these guys were thriving, right? They were doing so well, but they were people's heroes.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's very true.
They were coming from our ground, our villages, our small towns, but it was treated in a very larger than life fashion, right? So I think we are heading towards that. But yes, the filmmaking will be far more different.
Definitely, definitely. Even though, sir, OTT and short format videos have surfaced recently, and thanks to our social media platforms as well, a lot has been influenced when it comes to music, especially, or anything of that sort. But definitely, storytelling has not been affected as such, is what I feel personally. But as a producer, do you feel social media has added a lot of pressure when it comes to storytelling?
I don't know, I mean, whether it's added any pressure, because we don't take pressure. We try and, be true to the story that we are saying. So our belief is always been in the script. So till the time we don't have that right, we don't move ahead. And once we believe in the script, I think we know that there would be an audience for it.
Definitely, definitely. Manoj sir, do you feel social media is as an added tool, or is it an added job for an actor that needs to be relevant, or he or she has to be there, quite present all the time?
It's individual to individual. On my social media handles, you'll never see anything which is apart from what I do. Correct. Right? I really don't let it be a pressure on me.
Okay.
I do it because I somewhere feel that it's a professional requirement
right.
rather than the personal requirement.
Right.
I don't want people to know where I'm going to do the grocery shopping. I don't want. I mean, that's my personal thing. I don't want them to know that today maid hasn't come, right? So it's your choice. I don't want, the things that I don't want people to know, I will never post it, right? Mostly the posting that we do is always connected with the work that way, and also it has been helping me to spread awareness about the work which is going to be released. I really use the social media and consciously try not to get used by social media. Okay? I really don't want to get consumed by it, and that's my fear for my daughter. She's 13 years old. I mean, it's a peer pressure. They want to have an Instagram handle, but we are, and it's not their fault. It's the time that they are born in. It's the pressure that they are surrounded with. But as a parent, what we can do, we can delay it. We can delay it as much as possible, because eventually they are going to be on social media. They are going to do everything that any youngster is doing. We should not expect anything different. But our job as a parent is to delay it as much as possible. Our job as a person is to keep off those kind of pressure consciously all the time.
I understand. But are we forgetting, do you think, are we forgetting that boundary between personal and private life and public life? Do you feel that is happening across in different age groups? Do you feel that?
I mean, yes, there are many disadvantages that you get to read, get to hear, or get to see on social media. There are things that I see which is quite uncomfortable. Right. Okay, and yes, it has become a menace. Okay, but for some it has become a job.
Very true.
Right.
Very true.
So let's look at both the sides, and choose which direction you want to take.
Definitely, definitely. Raghav, coming to you, what can we expect next from you? What kind of storytelling are you going to delve into next?
So after this, I'm really focusing on a feature film. That is something I really want to focus on.
Good news.
Yeah, and with that, of course, document.
You're so lucky, your actor is already ready.
Yeah, will we be seeing him?
The difficult part is here.
पता चला उसने बोला सर 25 साल की लड़की की कहानी है.
नहीं, fiction sir, हम कुछ भी बना सकते हैं. That's the beauty of stories. And documentaries, I of course see it as a part of me. And I remember Neeraj sir and Sheel sir always telling me that start off with documentaries, they set your foundation in the right manner. They'll allow you to tell the story in the right way. To know how to play with the stories, because in documentaries, you make a story constantly. It's not you know the story while you're shooting or while you're doing research. Edit where there's a different story. So edit is where everything comes together. So it's a very important part of my life, and I want to keep doing this. But yes, my next thing is a fictional film is what I want to really focus on.
Like, are you in it?
In it currently. Constantly. So there's something that in the company, we always like, sir was saying, how do you know the story is right? So one thing is, okay, what are you trying to say as a maker? Till we don't get that right. So till that time, we keep writing, we keep tearing, we keep writing. So that process is going on right now. And once we are, I think I'll be able to connect with that source. I think we'll go through it easily then.
I understand. So from Friday Filmworks and from Friday Storytellers, both, what are we expecting?
We are doing various things. There are one is a feature film that's going to come out in June.
It doesn't have me.
Which doesn't have.
Are you disappointed with that?
Definitely.
Another film that we are struggling to put together with Manoj. He doesn't have the time.
No, just shut up.
Busiest
Shut up. They keep cancelling the date.
Khaki, the Bengal chapter is going to go on floor.
Which doesn't have me.
He's just on a count with you.
और बताएं
Which doesn't have me.
Dinner at my house, which has got him today. So yeah, there are things in the pipeline. The boot room media is a sports wing. We've done a couple of documentaries in that also. So we're looking forward to a few things in there. So yeah, exciting times for us at Friday Storytellers, Friday Filmworks.
इसका वास्तु मैंने किया है.
मैंने आपको पेंटिंग आ गई पूरे
है ना?
वो पेंटिंग इन्होंने दी है.
Right.
Manoj sir, but exciting times for you as well. Has been always, we have expected from you. You just to mention that your next is going to be a Masi as well. What are we expecting from you? What kind of different Manoj Bajpayee can we see on screen?
You'll see me doing a kind of action that I have not done in my 20s and 30s.
I thought he got it done. It's 26.
No, actually not. That was just a teaser. But this one is going to be full of action, with a very strong emotional story, set in the heartland.
Wow.
So yes, it is going to be a very massive film, but the protagonist is actually going to be someone who is coming from the people.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
On that note, thank you so much, gentlemen, for your
Thank
time.
you.
It was lovely chatting with each one of you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is Manoj Bajpayee, and you are watching me on News 18 SHOWSHA.